Oh, hello everyone. We are on my floor today because this is one of those situations again where it was like now or never for me to film this video. And this is actually one of the very first videos that I filmed for my YouTube last year, and it actually might be my most viewed video on my page currently, and that is the mid-year book freakout tag. So this is just a tag going around where we get to chat about, some of my favorite books of the year so far, do a little wrap up of what books I'm excited to read down the road this year, some books that disappointed me. So it's just a really fun tag talking all things books and all of the books that I've read so far in 2023. Currently, according to my Goodreads, which is always linked down below, I have read 112 books at the time of filming this video. It's like 112 or 113 books read slash listened to, because I am a really big audiobook person, and that is the reason why my number is so high. This year so far has been so good for reading. I've discovered so many authors that I'm absolutely obsessed with, new to me authors. I've read just so many incredible books. I actually have a whole post up on my Instagram, also linked down below, that is another, mid-year reading wrap-up situation. So there's even more book recs that I'm not going to talk about in this video in that post. So make sure to follow my Instagram if you aren't yet. I actually just screenshotted the questions here from Jess's video, Jess over at Peace Love Books. I love Jess. She's one of my very good pals. So I have all the questions here. I have 2 stacks of books in front of me. I'm pretty sure I pulled all the books that I could. So let's just wrap up this intro and get right into the mid-year freakout book tag. That's what it is, right? Mid-year freakout tag, whatever it is. Okay, so the very first question I honestly think is the hardest question to answer, but it is the best book that you've read so far this year. I would like to say a couple of the books that I'm going to talk about I would classify as the best, book that I've read so far. But the book that comes to mind, first when I think of like, oh, the best book that I've read so far this year is probably Part of Your World by Abby Jimenez. This is the Steamy Lit special edition, by the way. It's absolutely gorgeous. Look at Alexis and Daniel on the cover, stunning. And then it has the goat and the dog on the back. I think the goat's name was Chloe. Anyways, Part of Your World was the actually very first Abby Jimenez book that I ever read. Well, actually, I listened to this on audio, and the audiobook is fantastic. Zachary Weber, and I can't remember the female narrator, just did such an incredible job. This book made me cry. This is a small town romance, opposites attract situation. So our main girl, Alexis, is, like a big shot doctor, really successful woman who actually coming home from, I believe it's like a funeral, something happens with her car and she's stuck overnight in this small town. Daniel helps her on the side of the road. He's, this blue collar working man. There is an age gap in here where Alexis is actually the older one. This book was just perfect. Like, Daniel, one of the great loves of my life. I would do anything for that fictional man, I'm telling you. I gave this book a beyond 5-star rating. I just think Abby's writing in here was also incredible. The way you just got so invested in these characters. And it's a book that literally had me laughing, but also crying. And this book I just think is absolute perfection. It's one of those universal books that I would recommend to absolutely anyone. And I really think you will enjoy it. So if you have not picked up Part of Your World by Abby Jimenez, please do. Definitely the best book that I read so far this year. And the next question is actually best sequel that you've read so far this year. And honestly, this book is basically very close to being at a tie with Part of Your World of a book that I think is one of the best, absolute like top tier best books that I've read so far this year, and that is The Right Move by Liz Tom Ford. Oh my god. This book actually also fits the bill on a whole bunch of questions on this list, so I'll bring it up again where it fits. But this book is a sequel, as it is the sequel to Mile High by Liz Tom Ford. And fun fact, Mile High was the very first book that I read so far in 2023. This book is a sequel because it follows Ryan and Indy. So Ryan is Stevie's brother from Mile High, and Indy is Stevie's best friend. Again, characters from Mile High, so this is, you know, technically a sequel, takes place in the same world. I would actually read Mile High before you read The Right Move, because number one, Mile High is also an absolutely incredible book, but then number two, you do really see the couple from Mile High a lot in here, and I just love this world and these characters and Liz's writing, so I would absolutely read Mile High before you read this one. This is a fake dating, forced proximity, sports romance, like opposites attract, and it is my perfect book. This book also made me cry. Ryan Shea is like literally the book man, okay? Everyone told me going into this, they're like, Ryan Shea, you're gonna die, he's the best. And I did in fact die. He is perfect, but Indy is also a really special character to me. I see so much of myself in her. And the way Ryan Shea, the way this man just pays so much attention to Indy is absolutely incredible. Liz's writing is just gonna do it for me every single time. I think there is just something so sophisticated about her books and her writing and the way that she writes romance. Like again, Mile High, I was very impressed with that book, and then I read The Right Move and I was like, oh, Liz Tom Ford said, let me write a really fantastic book with Mile High and then go 20 times harder for the sequel. So please read The Right Move. You will not regret it. I promise you. And if you've read Mile High and you haven't gotten to this book yet, again, you must immediately, right now. Question 3 is new release that you haven't read yet but you want to. That's an easy question for me, for sure. Yours Truly by Abby Jimenez. This book does take place, you know, after Part of Your World, follows, I think her name is Brianna. I think. She was also in Part of Your World. Technically, all of Abby Jimenez's books are in the same world, and you know, you can read them in order or you can read them as complete standalones. Obviously I did by starting with Part of Your World, but again, this character is in Part of Your World, so that's really fun. Fun fact, I actually started this audiobook on the plane because again, everyone was like, the audiobook is so good, and of course Part of Your World was fantastic on audio, so I was really excited to pick this one up on audio. And the tea is, I got 17% into this book and I started crying. Again, I listened to it on the plane ride back from Book Bonanza, and I was just getting emotional, and I was like, I simply cannot do it. I apparently need to be in the right headspace when I want to cry to pick up Abby Jimenez's book. I have heard nothing but good things about this. I know I'm going to love this book. So many people have told me that this is one of their favorite books of the year. Will it be Part of Your World? We will have to see. Do I know when I'll pick up this book again? Unclear, but like I said, I'll have to be in the mood for a cry, but I'm definitely really, really, really excited to, you know, finish up this book because I know it's going to be fantastic. Next question is most anticipated release for the second half of the year. I actually did a whole video talking about my anticipated releases for 2023. Some of those books have come out since that video, but a good chunk of them still haven't come out yet. And honestly, when I think about this question, the first book that comes to mind is Salt Kiss by Sierra Simone. This is the start of her new MMF series, which takes place in the same world as her new Camelot series, and I am so excited. I'm really like, until I have this book in my hands, I will not know peace. This book comes out in either September, November, or December. I can't remember which month. I have no idea. I couldn't tell you. So this is without a doubt like my most anticipated release for the second half of the year. You know, I feel like I actually have to look at the books that I've read so far this year on Goodreads to see which book I would say is my biggest disappointment. Oh, you know what book I'm gonna say is the biggest disappointment? I'm gonna put Ashford Parker Doesn't Fail by Ashley Herring Blake. And the thing is, I loved Delilah Green Doesn't Care by Ashley Herring Blake so much. It is one of my favorite books of the year, such a standout. It's a sapphic romance, and Ashford Parker is the follow-up book to it. And the thing is, I don't think this is a bad book. I'm just really upset by how like little I cared about this book, and especially the more time has passed since I read it, I really find it to be not memorable at all. It was not a bad book listening to it on audio, like in the moment I had a fun time, but like Delilah Green, I feel like I remember so much about it. Like I said, I love that book so much, but this one just unfortunately fell kind of flat. Again, it's not the worst book that I read so far this year by far. Just after loving the first book in this series so much, I was excited to continue on and unfortunately was a little bit let down. Next question is biggest surprise, and this is such an easy answer, not a doubt in my mind. The biggest surprise of the year so far were my two of my favorite books of the year, hands down, and that is Kit McBride Gets a Wife and Marrying Off Morgan McBride by Amy Berry. Oh my god, I love these books with my entire heart and soul. I literally gave them both 5 stars, really beyond 5 stars. These are the first 2 books in a series. They do follow, you know, siblings. You can definitely read them as standalones, but Kit McBride comes first, then it's Morgan McBride. Each book is going to follow a McBride sibling. I mean, there are definitely other books in the series that we could get, they just haven't been announced, and I really need Berkeley Publishing to be like, yay, we have Amy Berry, we're gonna do these next books in the series, because again, there's no info on them, nothing has been released, but I need confirmation that this world is going to continue on, because if they don't, Berkeley will be hearing from me. I could talk about these books honestly forever, but I really do think if you claim to be in your cowboy romance era and you want to read true Western period pieces that are so cute and charming and will make you smile. Audiobooks, like I said, were great for these books. Just check them out. Check them out. I love Amy Berry so much also. She's a gem. She's so sweet. The next question is favorite new to you author, whether they're a debut author or, you know, just new to you. I've literally listed a couple already so far in this video with Amy Berry, Liz Tom Ford, Abby Jimenez, all new to me authors this year. Another 2 people who 100% totally stick out to me are QB Tyler and Lucia Franco. And both of these ladies write forbidden, taboo, age gap, spicy romances. So it was really love at first sight, love at first read for me and these 2 ladies. I love their books so much. Newest fictional crush was also a pretty easy question for me, but also shout out to Kova from the Off Balance series by Lucia Franco as well. I mean, how can you read that series and not love that man? And then also, like I mentioned previously, Ryan Shea from The Right Move, and then Daniel from Part of Your World. But for a new answer, I'm going to pick Ronan from Highest Bidder by Sarah Kate. That's my daddy right here. Like, that's literally daddy, okay? Daisy and Ronan are for sure my favorite couple in the Salacious Players Club, without a doubt. This is also the most, I guess, taboo maybe of all of the Salacious Players Club's books so far, due to the very, very heavy age gap. But this book was perfect. Definitely one of my favorite books of the year. I cried. Okay, I loved them so much. I cried at the end. And he takes her to Paris. He takes her to Paris. Ronan is just my perfect man. And the fact that I don't have one of him, like the fact that we can't take him out of the book and he can't be dating me right now is upsetting. I'm upset. Sarah Kate herself knows how much I love this book. Also, the model on this book is named Wander, and he is a model slash photographer. And I met him at Book Bonanza, and he was very handsome, very charming, and very nice. So Sarah made sure that I met him. She literally brought him over. She was like, wait, let me get Wander for you. Because again, she knows that this is my favorite book. So I have met this man. I have met Daddy Ronan in real life. Next question is, what is that? Newest favorite character. There we go. I'm going to pick my girl, Winter from Reckless by Elsie Silver. I have both copies, People Cover and Discreet. These covers are going away, by the way. So if you want them, I would get them now. Anyways, I've always liked Winter the entire time. I have a soft spot for the, dare I say, bitchy characters, the characters who are a little bit more cold and closed off. I just really love those characters. I love reading about them and seeing Winter as a mom in this book, because this is, you know, a single mom surprise pregnancy book. Seeing Winter as a mom was so amazing, and seeing her just grow into herself and finding her voice and her confidence, because she has had a whole bunch of people in her life trying to talk down at her and making her feel small, and seeing her just go after what she wants in this book, I thought was incredible. I also just loved her relationship with Theo and how she knew what she wanted to explore in their relationship in a spicy way, and they did, and it was just so well done. This book is extremely, extremely well done, in my opinion. I mean, every Elsie Silver book that I read, I think is incredible. She's just a very talented writer. Winter is definitely my favorite character in the Chestnut Springs series universe now, tied with Willa. I mean, Willa is always going to be my number one. I am Willa. I love her so much. I do also love Summer as well. It's just so hard to pick a favorite, but I do think Winter, especially after her own book, is, you know, a new fave for me. I just love my gals in small town romances. A book that made you cry. Again, I listed so many in this video. Let's go back down the line again. We have The Right Move made me cry. Part of Your World made me cry. American King by Sarah Simone made me cry. What else? Oh, Highest Bidder by Sarah Kate made me cry. Two more books that I will say made me cry. We have The Co-op by Tara DeWitt. I love Tara DeWitt, so I will sneak her books into any video that I can. This book made me cry. It was incredible, especially the ending. I just was in shambles. And then also Tentacles and Triathlons, a monster romance by Ashley Bennett, also made me cry. I mean, Ashley Bennett literally had me crying over a kraken. This book was incredible. You actually have to read Monsters and Muscles and Tentacles and Triathlons by Ashley Bennett. Do it for me. Do it for me, please. Then I totally should have tried to find the physical copy I have for this book, but for a book that made me happy, I'm gonna put Runaway Love by Melanie Harlow. I loved this book so much. It was absolutely fantastic. It is a single dad nanny, small town romance, newest book in her new series, and I loved this. It's a really quick read as well. It was so cute and charming. Our main guy is a single dad to twins. His kids were so effing cute, and this book is just sweet and spicy and so fun, and this book definitely made me happy. I also think this is a really good Melanie Harlow book to start with. If you haven't read Melanie Harlow yet, I do think this is a really good place to start. Oh, and also going to most anticipated book for the year. Hello, obviously Hideaway Heart, second book in this series. The main girl in that book may or may not be named Kelly. Her full name is Kelly Jo Sullivan, and she may or may not have gotten her name inspiration from me, and this book is going to be forced proximity, bodyguard trope, enemies to lovers. I know it's going to be fantastic. This is also my most anticipated book of the year. Comes out in August. Until I have an ARC copy of this book in my hands, I will not know peace. This next question, I could simply not give you one book, and that is most beautiful book you have acquired this year. I am a special edition slut, okay? I can't help myself. I really, really am. So I have a couple of my faves to show you, and also I love all of these books too. So the first one of my pride and joys is my Hello Lovely Tempt. This is from their Trope of the Month box. You can actually be put on the wait list for their Trope of the Month box. It is something, you know, that obviously you get every month. When you get off the wait list, or when you're shopping on Hello Lovely in general, you can use my code Kelly15 to save. I am connected with them. Like, hello, the purple of it all, and then the character art. My favorite special editions really have character art on them. I love seeing my characters on books, and this again is just utter perfection. I love this book as well. It is Ex-Boyfriend's Dad, really spicy, another fantastic Melanie Harlow book, and again, this is my baby. I love this book so much. Another book that is a standout book for the year for me, I gave it 5 stars. It's definitely one of my favorite books. I've talked about this edition actually in other videos, but my Mystic Box version of Sick Fucks by Tilly Cole is insane. The detail on here is just incredible. I love the touch of hot pink, obviously goes with the book really well. I love this book with my entire heart and soul. If you know you like dark romance, you can totally look into it. It's a really hard book for me to recommend, but it is one of my all-time favorites, and I love this Mystic Box edition so much. And then also have to give a shout out to my Fairy Loot Once Upon a Broken Heart set, because the details on these books are absolutely crazy. So this first book, Once Upon a Broken Heart, Ballad of Never After, These books are set in the Caraval universe. Caraval is one of my favorite series of all time. Stephanie Garber is one of my favorite authors of all time. So of course I also had to hunt these down with my life. And I have no regrets because I mean the dust jackets are beautiful. The sprayed edges are gorgeous. But really underneath as well, crazy. Like I said, the detail on the inside of the dust jackets, the actual naked hardcover, the detail inside the books. It's actually insane. These books were worth every penny. Then this next question, I feel like I could give so many answers to. It says, what books do you need to read before the end of the year? I actually plan on reading these, you know, hopefully very soon, but because she is an author that's on like the top of my mind to read ASAP, because I feel like all of my friends are reading her, but I'm not yet, and that is Katerina Mora. I have my set from my Book Bonanza pre-order of her foiled editions, and they're so stunning. But anyways, this is The Wrong Bride by Katerina Mora. I know she does have her whole reading list for this series, but they can also technically be read as standalones. She's very high priority on my TBR. I know she writes literally a lot of Billionaires, Marriage of Conveniences, I think maybe like Forced Proximity. So she really seems like an author for me. I just have to, you know, get into her books. They are available on KU. Her audiobooks are available on certain platforms as well. So I'm very, very excited to get into her work. She was also such a sweetie at Book Bonanza. So for sure, want to read a good chunk of Katerina's backlist sometime this year. Then the last question I think is a really easy one where it says favorite book to movie adaptation. I mean, Daisy Jones and the Six, for sure. I love the TV show. The book is actually one of my favorite books of all time. I think the TV show was incredible. I'm still obsessed with the music. I think the casting is so perfect. I love Riley Keough so much. I'm literally obsessed with her. I think they just did a fantastic job taking a book that I love so much, bringing it to screen. The whole cast was perfect. Again, the music was perfect. I loved that it got to be a TV show. This way the story didn't feel rushed. I cried at the end, of course. I also cried at the end of the book. And I just think this was an incredibly well done book to screen adaptation. All right, guys, that was it. That was the mid-year book freakout tag. We got to talk about some of my faves for the year. What were some of your favorite books that you've read so far this year? I would love to know. As always, all of my social medias are linked down below if you would like to follow me there. If you enjoyed this video, please like, comment, subscribe. It means so much to me. You have no idea. Share this video. Do whatever you want. But yeah, that is all for today, and I will see you guys in my next video. Bye!